All right. Welcome to the new episode of Crush This Monster Truck Podcast. I'm wearing my Hall Brothers high vis gears. That means arena floor, pretty much. We are at the PNC Bank Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Hurricanes of the NHL and the Wolfpack and basketball. But my guest today or tonight, whenever we're going on, it's a free Roman podcast.
That's fine.
It's Matt Isbill, right?
Yep.
Announcer, and he has all sorts of different, business card. A lot of information in the back of the card. So we always do like a timeline type deal. So were you always a fan of monster trucks and monster jam and products in general, or how did you? Basically, the way I'm saying is, how did you get to even your first announcement? Were you as a fan at first?
I was always a fan. We're going to Chicago next week. We're going to be at the Allstate Arena, and that's where I grew up watching my shows. My dad took me my first show 6 months old, and I've been a fan ever since. It's been the first time I saw those trucks. It's like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. And now it's like, it's just, I wanted to be a part of how. I didn't know how someday, but it's one day I wanted to be a part of it.
So like you said, with the business, there's all sorts of different directions, because if in this production now for Monster Jam, everyone has a different thing. Like, you're an announcer, I'm a technician, drivers and event directors and all. So what got you to pursue into the announcing side of everything?
So when I was younger, I said or work on one of these trucks one day. For a while, I was like, this probably isn't going to happen. There's so many avenues you have to take to become a driver or a technician. And I was going to a lot of independent events, when I was, getting ready to start college, because I went to college for broadcasting communications because I had a voice. And also I was going for, multimedia in college. So I would go to monster truck shows, events, like, you see guys like the Monster Blog and them filming and recording events, and they posted them. I did the same thing with Extreme Monster Truck coverage. I created my own website, and I was filming events, and one crossed me, Steve Curcio, Outlaw Monster Truck Spectacular at the time. And he saw me at an event in St. Louis, Missouri, heard about me in Missouri, gave me a call and said, "Hey, Matt, I'm in a bind. I have a show in Bismarck, North Dakota this weekend. Would you like to go give a shot and try announce it?" 16. And I literally had to leave the next day, not making any money, just go up there and do it. And I immediately took the offer and said yes. So Steve Curcio, to admit it, and say it, Steve Curcio is the reason I am in monster trucks and gave me my opportunity as an announcer for the very first time. I did some club help with Monster Jam beforehand, but that wasn't really my in to get into the monster truck business. He gave me my very first announcing gig ever, and I fell in love with it when I first got on the microphone.
So how did you build up your portfolio? Basically, because it's always, I found out in the monster world, trust is a very key thing, and word of mouth, and then that starts, but then they're trusting you. So how did you build your portfolio to be part of different promoters around the country? So
what I did was I worked for Steve a lot. I did a lot of his outlook shows for a few summers, for a summer, and I had one driver, Drew Haygood, driver of that Desperado Monster Jam, the monster truck. Liking to me. He found out Ed Beckley needed an announcer. So he called Ed, said, "Hey, I got this young kid. He's good. He brushed up. I think you can work with him. You should bring him on." Ed brought me down, flew me to Texas. And I remember staying at Ed's place for a while, shop that he had. And I worked in the shop, editing videos for him, editing some of his TV commercials and announcing. And then that's where I met Zane. And that season, coming in, with Checker Flag Productions or Promotions. So I worked with Ed for a first quarter. After that was done, to Steve over the summer. And then I started dabbling in other, like Monster X Tour called me, and I did a couple Monster X events. Still, working back at home in my nursing area. Yes, I'd also worked in nursing while I was doing this, but you always, as I say, you always have a backup secure. And then I was, this is not a joke. That's why I say I'm very, very lucky to be in the business I am today. I was hanging out with two of my buddies, my buddy Adam and my buddy Jason. We're sitting at his house one night and we're talking about Monster Jam. One day I want to get there. Well, how do you got to get there? I'm like, I don't know. I did not know the process to getting here. So I had Scott Douglas as a friend on Facebook help me and sat there and crafted a message to Scott, like with my resume, building the repetition, all the repetition I built with certain promoters, sent it to Scott's book. I didn't think this was going to go anywhere. The next day, Scott messages me and says, Matt, this is awesome to see. I'm going to forward it to the people. 2 days later, I had a phone call from the company and they brought me to their Aurora offices. And I got hired by Monster Jam. And actually, Monster Jam is what helped me have a better reputation with the independent promoters, believe it or not. Guys like All-Star Monster Truck Tour, Monster Truck Throwdown, Monster Truck Tour, those guys saw me, and Brian Wagner, actually, when he first saw me at one of Elliot's shows. Because Elliot and I met through Monster Jam when Elliot was still working. So when he was starting Throwdown, and he was like, hey, I want you to come do a couple. That's why I met Brian Wagner. Brian's like, Matt, you're really great. I would love to bring you on some more of these events. And that's just how the repetition going is, it's proving your worth, that not that being a super fan is great because you're a super fan. I grew up a super fan, but you have to show the dedication. Like you working on the haul trucks meet, announcing each and every week. And you also have to want to help new talent grow. And that's what I wanted to do. People helped me grow. And I was trying to do the same thing I liked. I wasn't just coming in, all right, I'm going to announce and leave. No, if I'm at one of these events, I'm going to help paint. If a truck breaks and I can get in there to help, I want to help. You just shoulders that you want to do it. So Monster Jam is what really got me with the other promoters too. And that took it out from there.
If I was thinking of may correct me on this, Matt.
Sure.
The timeline that you got in was kind of towards this transition to what they do for grooming announcers today, where back, I'm saying where you're at,
right?
You still had like Scott Heaton and
yes.
like Ken Nowinski,
Larry Jewett,
where they improv sometimes,
right?
I mean, they had some cliff notes, but they improved, and they
right.
still were very informative of going, okay, you just in the Gravedigger and that wheelie during wheeling competition, you just took a wheel off. Well, that's part of a hub assembly, stuff like that.
Right.
Or when I was at Pittsburgh, I don't know if they did that at the Rosemont when you're there, but they always brought a truck out.
Yep.
Just randomly, just a random truck out, like Slip Goes Eradicator or
yep.
something like that. It gives a little tour about what people see in the truck. And then, Larry was always our announcer, him or Leslie Mears.
Yes.
Announcers at the Pittsburgh show a lot. And they always had, Andy was there every single year, because it's kind of like a local home show for him. Well, I always thought that he was out more Philadelphia area than this Pittsburgh, but that's another story as that. But anyway, they did a very, very big detail, and they were like improving and stuff like that. But when you got into it, well, don't forget Jody Donnelly too.
Yeah, Jody Donnelly, one of the best.
And you have all these guys helping you out, like Greg Williker and all them. You took always tell this. Sorry about this, Matt.
No, fine.
I do.
You're
a
good,
lot
man.
of a lot of like different things around.
No, and, you're fine. Love it.
I always learn this. I learned the technician on Monster Jam. There could be 10 different people teaching you how to change a corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10 different ways of changing a corner.
Yep. So
you're always going to take it and just make it your own.
Yep.
Was that the same way for you as announcing when you have Scott giving you some information, Greg giving you some information, maybe Jody giving you some information, and then you have your own twist? Did you get that a lot?
I did. And when I got hired, I was lucky my first season. My first season with Monster, I got to announce with Douglas. Like my whole season. I didn't go to Whitaker. I didn't go to Larry Jewett. I didn't go to anybody else. I had stadiums not my very first year, and I'm very grateful for that because I learned so much from Scott. Year 2, I did some with Scott, some with Greg. I did Larry Jewett. So I bounced around with those tours, and then that's when I started picking up. And that was before the transition process of, how it is with the hosting now, more cliff notes to help guide the new hosts that come along and things like that. Like at that time, you were still on your own. Yeah, we had the guides. That was it. And I had to learn that way because that's what I was doing beforehand. But I had to learn the Monster Jam way of it. And I had Scott behind me the whole time. And, behind me the whole time, Larry Jewett behind me the whole time, Nowitzki, that whole transition process. And that's why I say I get very lucky. Like now, if you want to be a host at Monster Jam, come out and audition, which I think is a great process. Yes, like auditioning is something that you should be doing because, you can see if that person has it or don't have it right then and there. Then you come back and you try again, So I'm lucky for them because they took me under their wing and brought me in because I was the youngest on that roster at the time. I was 2 years old and I never had anybody at that young come in and announce for Monster Jam before. So I got very, very lucky that these superstars, that I call, these other hosts that were hosting, took me under their wing and helped me out. The one person I did not get to work with that I wish I got to work with one time before he's in the company was Scott Heaton. Okay. I never got to work with Scott Heaton. I always wanted to.
Did you have a chance to work with Joe Lowe?
No, Joe Lowe passed away the year I started with him. So it was like heartbreaking because he always did Rosemont. I never Scott Douglas and Rosemont. It was always got Joe Lowe. So, and I get to work with Joe Lowe. I get to meet Joe Lowe and everything. And unfortunately, he passed away. So, like Joe Lowe did, Chicago, and Scott would do Indianapolis. So I got to see them. I always wanted to work with Joe, and I never got to, unfortunately.
Right. And then during the pandemic, like last couple of years, you still use that craft, the improving and stuff like that at like the other promoters that you're with.
Yeah.
And you still had that as your back card.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I never stopped was my independent promoters. I love working for those guys in the summer. There's some that I get to do, like they're drivers that I don't get to see on tour, like Monster Jam, we have our set tour. So I go into summer, I'm going to see guys like Corey Snyder and Toxic. I got to have you guys at the Renegade tour last year a lot, Jerry Beck, hang out with Zane, all these guys. I got to do that and still use my craft, taking my craft and applying it in other spots too. Like, here at Monster Jam, we have these cool intro videos, right? I was able to take my craft and create an intro, not a video that we were able to apply to the Renegade shows. And that's the one thing. I don't want to just come out on the microphone and do my job. If I can apply my stuff anywhere else, I want to, because I just want to make any show better that we're working for and what we're doing. That's right. What the goal is with us. That's why we're fans.
Yeah. And we'll bridge a little bit of your also your dedication out with Scott Douglas's conversation of stuff. But I wanted to talk about, helping out with today's talent in the announcing side. Like you said, they have people that are trying out, but them trying out is what they do. And then they're in a stadium atmosphere. So what do you do because like a typical normal, like last week at a show, your second half is all you're inside the,
right.
I think the ball itself. So how do you help out and bridge off of each other with the scenario and situations that you guys are in?
So like when I have a new talent come in, the one thing is, Monster Jam is that I can take talent and get them where they need to be at a certain point. And that's my goal. Like after so many weeks, like whoever my co-host is, and I should know by then that they don't even need me anymore. Like I'm like, let's take Christina for an example, who's my co-host this year on a tour. She had experience in 2020, not a lot, but she had some. And then she came in this year, nervous, excited, ready to go. And I love that. She, love that about her. And when I heard her get on the microphone and watch what she was doing, it's like, she's a natural. That's the thing. You have to have the natural ability when you come in, especially if you don't know much about these. You have to have in my opinion, you have to have natural ability on the microphone, and you have to want to learn. Mm-hmm. You can't teach somebody if they don't want to learn. Christina, Casey, the list goes on, who I've worked with and helped train, they've all wanted to learn, and they've always wanted to take this aspect of monster trucks and apply their knowledge to it. Like, you're not just like how you talk on a microphone, or you have to go into the field and learn these things. So like when Christina first showed up in Baltimore, I poured her the trucks. I showed her what it was like. I introduced her to you guys and some of the other crew, and they were willing to help her along. We got her inside of a Monster Jam truck. I showed her around. And that's the only way you're going to be able to apply these things. So now when Christina gets out there, she knows some of the knowledge that she's talking about. And like, even during the show, how she's in the bolt, like you said, she's down in the tunnel. I barely have to say anything to Christina. Everything she does is all her. And if I get on the radio and say anything, I say, Christina, that was great. I never say anything. Hey, don't do this. Don't do this. Like, because she just has that natural talent ability when she comes out here. My job is just to guide them. I don't look at it as, it's literally just guiding them along. And if they misstep here and there a little bit, just help them with the missteps. And that's it. Most of it they have down, because by the first 2 weeks, here's how I always say it too. You know how we have rehearsals the first week of an event? Like we have 2 rehearsals before we even, it's for the drivers to practice, us to practice, whoever. After those first 2 rehearsals, they should have the feel and know what it's like. And again, Casey, some others that I've worked with got that feel down right away. They really just got it down right away and knew what they needed to do. And after me guiding them along and being there for their support too. That's the key, is if they have questions, answer them for them. Be that person for them, because they don't know, that some of them don't know that Gravedigger's been around since 1982. Some of them don't know Max D, has had 12 chips and, they were all won, some of them for multiple years in a row and things like that. Just guide them with that little bit of knowledge. The main like itself, they can handle. You just guide them on the side with that little bit of knowledge. And then it's the same with Scott Douglas and Greg Whitaker too, who come and train us. And I've been doing this 10 years with Monster Jam, 12 total. Like, Scott and Greg are still giving me notes to this day. You have to have the ability to take a note. If you can't, it's the same with the driver too. I feel like if you can't take a note from somebody that's trying to help you, you're not going to last long in this business, because it's just showing you're arrogant and your cockiness. No one's going to want to help you then. If you're willing to take a note and want to learn and have a good time, then you're going to succeed in this business, in my opinion. That's how I've always looked at it. Right. That was a long rant.
It's okay. It's okay. We're always good. We're going to branch out a little bit here. And, like I said previously, we mentioned about the conversation with Scott Douglas on Twitch. If you want to check that out, go follow his channel on Twitch and Facebook also. And, he met people behind the scenes. Well, this guy's one of them. And how did the collaboration happen? I know it was during, the pandemic and stuff like that. How did the collaboration happen? And then how did you guys basically, took off to doing basically 3 shows in 1 week?
Scott sent me a text message one day and said, "Hey, Matt, I hope you're doing well. I have some questions I want to ask you if you have time." And I was like, okay, sure. Scott wanted to start getting into like the voiceover business, and he knew I know how to build websites and all that. And he asked me if I can help do that with him. And I said, sure. So I basically helped him build a website. And then after we hung up the phone, I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, why doesn't Scott Douglas have a show? Like, literally the man voice of Monster Trucks since we were all kids, like since the beginning of Monster Trucks, does not have a show. The stories he can tell, the interviews he can get with drivers, why doesn't he have it? So I called him and told him about it, his idea. He's like, well, you say it. Kay Young has said it to him. Like, Scott, would you try it? What is the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work, but if it works, we keep going with it. It's great. He's like, yeah. So I'm a Twitch platformer. I do streaming with my show on Wednesday nights that I have related. It's just a general show with me and my buddies. So I knew the platform very well. All Scott had to do was get a camera set up and a microphone, and I could handle the back end. Yes, graphics and everything. Scott mentored me. He showed me everything, how to be a great Monster Jam announcer. This is the thing to do to pay him back. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to take anything from Scott. Scott has helped me in my career. So I built him a website. I did this conversation with Scott Douglas, and all Scott had the microphone. He has the contacts. He reaches out to these people. Scott, I need you to reach out to these people. I don't know Dennis personally. I don't know Tom personally. Like, I know them, and when we talk, when we pass my trip, but I don't have their phone numbers. You do, Scott. Call them, text them, get a hold of them. And that's how it really took off. And then business has taken so much. I couldn't handle Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays every single week, because I also have a business to run. So we brought in Josh Lee, Motorsports. He's now actually a competition manager here at Monster Jam and Stadium Yellow. He came in and helped runs things. And then we ended up getting somebody else too. The thing is, it's just people wanting to give back. And I wanted to give back to Scott, because he's done so much. And, you have a podcast, there's other people that have, but no disrespect to anyone else, who better to tell stories like about Dennis and Tom and everybody than Scott Douglas? So love watching his stuff. And now we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Google Play. We have all these other platforms that we finally accessible to him. I wanted to give back, and it's just cool that I'm a part of it to help him. It's a lot of work sometimes, but the stories from Monster Trucks never told. I felt like they were never told. Like even the 90s to 2000s, like, yeah, we had TNM Motor Madness and we had the jam moments and things like that, but they were like 30-second pieces like that week. We need full stories of these drivers, and Scott can bring out those stories. Like Dennis's podcast, we did 2 hours and I wasn't done. I can keep going if you guys want. We're like, Dennis, we'll have to bring you out for another one. It's just, you can literally fill like 20 hours, I feel like, with Dennis, 20 hours with Tom, Dan Runty, all these guys, Mike Wine, like Gary Porter, Pablo Huffaker, and the list just goes on and on and on. It's like, and we want stories. All the fans do.
Oh, I remember the one time I did the interview with Scott. And Scott told me, he's like, we can go on, man. I was like, we're already pushing about our hour and a half. Program is normally an hour.
Yeah.
So, we sometimes push it around hour and a half or 2 hours. But he's like, I can keep on going. And I was like, oh, we got to do another episode. It's just like the stories that they could tell and stuff like that. And we do the same thing, basically. Yeah. But we just try to branch out. Like Brad always says, if you listen to, there's a Chris Jericho podcast.
Yeah.
There's a Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. There's all of them. There's all of them right now. And everyone has different avenues. I wish I could talk. Thank you. But it's just it's pretty cool to have that. And hearing the backstory about how another podcast or a cast, I guess you would call it too, would be coming about, which is something that I put on my Cliff Notes on my phone about asking, because it's always cool to see how one gets from the ground up. You know what I mean?
No, definitely, man. And it's, again, I just want these monster truck stories to be held on to forever. People deserve to hear them. And and that's the thing too. A lot of people understand, like guys like Dennis, Tom, Pablo, Gary Porter, our current drivers too, Todd LeDuc, Tony Oaks, Elvis Linez, Mark, they want to tell these stories, and they're not going to unless you ask.
Yeah. So
we got to be the ones that ask, and then they'll tell our story, like tell their story. And that's what it is. You just got to let them tell their story. And I got to tell as many stories as possible, because he's the king of monster trucks, in my opinion, when it comes to announcing.
I really like the Army Armstrong one, though.
Oh, so good. Army on. Like, I remember he called me. He's like, Matt, you are not going to believe who I got for next Wednesday. I was like, he's like, I got Army. And I was like, you did what? Like, he found Army's number. I was able to get hold of him. And like, the thing is, he was able to find people that we haven't heard from in years and get them on shows, which is really great to see.
Oh yeah. Especially in the cool, you have 3 different, even though it's in the same umbrella, the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are completely 3 different episodes. I think Tuesday is talking about current drivers. Wednesday's someone in a different field.
Yep. Form of entertainment.
Yeah. And then Thursday's old school.
Yep. Like the Throwback Thursdays. Like, and that's what I love too. When we did the Wednesday thing, he told me about this idea, avenues of entertainment. Like, had Jessica Ferris on, the casting director of Feld Entertainment. He's had some ice skaters on. That was the night he would bring people like me, Casey on, host. Like, I love that, because it was different forms of entertainment. And that's the cool thing for me, is like Scott shows like forms you can work. He brought Plotchko on, Scott Alinsky on, Jamie Dalting was on a Wednesday. You have to show, everyone thinks with monster trucks, there's the trucks, the drivers, the crew guys, and the announcers, and that's it. There's a lot more to that. There's marketing, there's promotion, there's, going track is being built, how wide the track is, you got to measure and everything. And people don't think about all that stuff. And there's people behind the scenes that do have to think about all that stuff. And we need to talk about those people.
Yep, we do. Like everything I have episodes where I had some dirt members in there, event directors, announcers, videographers, photographers, even to a point where, even have some side of people running RC, just different avenues. Scott, I forget his last name, but I had him on. I have an episode on waiting for him. He was the marketing personnel or the merchandise personnel for Monster Jam. Now he's with, I think, Hot Wheels Monster Truck Live, but he was with TNT for the longest time too. So just knew about, different percentages and, merchandise and like how popular, trucks are out. Like a little question, like, outside of Gravedigger in different avenues, is there different regions of favoritivity, or is there different places around the world saying, Australia was really liking Monster, or, Europe likes Megalodon or nature. And he was explaining about that stuff. Now we also in our podcast, we talk about stuff outside of the monster truck world, like to know the person in general. And the cool thing I know about you is video games. And
that's me.
Right. And that's a pretty cool topic. And if you want to explain, about, your side of the video game world, and maybe.
So I run, because of my production company, I own a production company that we make websites, edit TV commercials, voiceovers, graphic design, you name it. We do it all in the house, me and my team. We got in touch with this gaming convention called the Midwest Gaming Classic. It's the largest gaming convention in the country, next to E3. I'm now the third partner in it, and I now I've been into video games since I was a kid. So many people play video games, and I'm a collector. Now, I'm not sure where it's like I have to have every single game on the wall for every system. I collect things that mean something to me and were part of my childhood. I collect like gaming systems like Super Nintendo, N64, Sega Genesis. But I also get the systems that I didn't have as a kid that I really want. Sega CD, the Sega Saturn, Dreamcast. The sad thing is I have all these, and they literally sit on my wall and they look nice and pretty. I'm a big Star Fox fan. Star Fox is one of my favorite games for Super Nintendo, and I collect everything known to man about Star Fox. I have these little sentimental value things with them, but it's like one thing I've always wanted was like an arcade machine. I didn't buy an arcade machine. I built one. My own arcade machine that has over like 1,000 games on it. And I built it for two reasons. For myself, but like when I have people over, people walking to see our arcade machine, they're going to want to play it. And I want people to enjoy something, just play it. That's why I do things too. It's like to play it, have friends over and they see my collection of stuff like, holy cow, you have that? Can we play that? Yeah, let's bring it down and play it. It's like, I want to get things that I can share with people and have. That's why I run the gaming convention. We bring in celebrity guests and do all these things, but we do it for other people to have a good time. We didn't in 2020 because of the pandemic, but 2021 this year in November when we had our show and doors open and we saw the flood of people walking in, the smiles on their faces, 100% worth. That's why I do these things. I love making kids smile, families smile, come out and have a good time, and video games is a really great way to do that. Like if you look at the Nintendo Wii. The Wii did not sell because of the graphics. The Wii sold because it was a system you can play at home family. And that's what I like, doing experiences where you can play with the whole family. You come to the gaming convention, dad's going to want to play pinball, play Pac-Man, and the kids are going to go find a console, a Nintendo Switch or an Xbox and play on that. Mm-hmm. There's something there for everybody, and everybody can be a part of it. That's how that's Monster Jam. Monster Jam is a family entertainment sport. Everybody can come out and enjoy it. the video game aspect, like I said, it's just something that I can do with my friends and enjoy. Like one big thing I was, loved in video games was the Rock Band series or the Guitar Hero series. You get a bunch of friends together and you get the best high score. I just ordered not too long ago and I can't wait to have it on Sunday. I got the Oculus Quest 2 VR thing that I got it for, with my family and, my friends, and we can all just sit there and play together. That's the aspect that I love about video games, and the part too is why I love it. You're trying to hunt for that bargain or that price, especially me. Like, what do I do on tour? Do I go out and hang out like crazy? I'm at a Goodwill around the block, seeing if I can go find something to add to my collection, because it's the hunting part. Like, it's like the same with Pokemon cards. Like, yes, I have Pokemon cards as well. And, you get that rare card and that chase card and it's like, holy cow. It's just, for me, it's fun. A lot of people might not think it's fun. To me, I like doing it, but.
So I'm assuming when you're on this phone, do you try to look for, specific stores that sell them, not just like Goodwill, but like a place that actually
like retro video games?
Yes.
So yes and no. Like retro video game stores. I like supporting local people. I really do. Some stores are great. There's actually one that I did in South Carolina, happy Greensboro, and the great retro video game store, and their prices were great. But there's some stores you go to, they cost more than eBay prices. And what I understand, you have to make money. Like, let's all get that straight. You got to make money. That's what you have to do to run your business. But you don't have to rip off the consumer to do it. And I don't like supporting a business that charges more than a consumer. Somebody else will go in there and pay it. Fine, that's great. But I'm not going to, because I just think that's unfair. And especially like some eBay to this day, they're outrageous. Like they're starting to finally come down, video game prices. They're starting to come down a little bit. But for a while, I remember I was looking at I was in Spokane, Washington last week. Just like I went to like go hang out, look at the mountains and everything. I went to like this flea market type of thing where they had vendors and whatnot. And they had video. Cool. I was looking at a Sega Genesis. It was a Sega Genesis with one controller and like 2 games for like $250. I can go on eBay and get a Sega Genesis with the controller and 2 games for like $70. Like, don't rip off your consumer. These are meant for, why were these games created? They were created to not just, they weren't created to resell later at a higher value. Created to be enjoyed. Like I guarantee you, like, dude, if I came next week with my Super Nintendo, you, me, and a bunch of us would all gather around and play Monster Truck Madness 64 together because we enjoy it. They're meant to be played, not to be sold at overpriced, overpriced to people. And there's so many people that want this stuff and they can't afford it.
Right.
So that's why I don't support the video game stores as much. I will go into them, but if I could go to a Goodwill and find it, it's there's this guy on TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Follow me, please. There's this guy on TikTok that he goes collect for and he resells things online. You're making a living with that, that's fine. But I've looked at some of his prices. He sells way overpriced too. That's what he does. I just sell it at a fair value. Don't rip off the customer. That's how I look at it.
Right.
So, but video games are my thing. When I don't have any, I'll sit there and whip out my Nintendo Switch or my Xbox and I'll play and I'll enjoy it.
So I'm assuming
I love that my co-host Christina just walked in here with a bunch of snacks right now.
Oh, she's pretty cool.
She's my favorite person.
But so I guess you follow like the Convention 3 and stuff like that.
Absolutely. We had press passes for E3 last year.
Oh, okay. So I'm just curious about it. If you ever went to one, how's that in general? Like the atmosphere and because I hear people saying it's like a mixture of that and Comic-Con type deals.
It is. Gaming Classic is too. E3 is just a hype show. The newest and latest titles. That's what it is. And then after that, the buzz wears off and you just go play the new titles. Midwest Gaming Classic is different. It's everything from the really old stuff to the latest stuff. So the buzz is around all weekend. And we have convention, we have everything from pinball, arcade video, We have a console museum that shows off, has every console known to man. We have console free play. We have a main stage with acts. We throw an after party for people 21 and over. Afterwards, cosplay contest. We do it all. So it's just like find and do. You can do it, and I love it. That's the best part is everyone can have a good time, and you walk. That's the one cool thing about a gaming convention. You can walk around and have no friends. Like you walk in this place and you don't know anybody. You don't have any friends or not. You go by yourself. That weekend, you'll leave with a bunch of friends. You will leave making so next year you'll come back with those same people again. Mm. That's the cool thing. It's like, because you go to some events these days, and if you go to an event by yourself, like a basketball game or a football wrestling match, like AEW or WWE, you're gonna be there by yourself. You're not gonna meet anybody. This gaming convention, you're walking around, somebody sees you, you're going to meet somebody. Like they say by yourself, hey, are you hanging out by yourself? Why don't you come hang out with us? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And that's one thing I did at MGC this year. My friends came. They're not big gamers, but they came to support me because I'm running this show. So they're hanging out. I said, hey, can I challenge you guys to something? And they said, challenge. And I said, I want each of you, there was 4 of them. I said, I want each of you to go find one person that's playing a game by themselves and go talk to them. Because they themselves. And they all looked at me and said, done. Because you never know. You can make somebody's day by doing that. That's the best part. Everyone is just wanting to be friends and hang out with people at these types. But E3 itself, me being there, it's the best in light. We went to the UBS arena a couple weeks ago and it was like all the bells and whistles of everything. That's what E3 is. All the lighting, all the video boards, like the big, huge statues like of Mario and Sonic and Zelda and whatever it is, this box logo and everything. It's just like in your face. If there's one thing I don't like about E3, all you do is see people do this. Put your phone down. I get it, you're this. Put your phone down and enjoy the event. Enjoy the show. That's what we encourage at Midwest Gaming Classic. Is like, you don't have to walk around with your phone the whole time. Put it down and go play a game.
You guys?
Yeah, we do tons of tournaments, man. We do everything from Tecmo Bowl to Call of Duty. This year, I'm going to, for the first time, I'm working on it right now. We're doing a Monster Truck Madness 64 tournament.
Why not? Have you guys do Mario Kart?
We do Mario Kart every year. We do Super Nintendo Mario Kart. We do GameCube GameCube for the Mario Kart Double Dash, and then we do the Switch version now.
Okay.
So we have 3 different types of Mario Kart tournaments. We do Smash tournaments, Smash Brother tournament. Like I said, Call of Duty, Halo. We actually do the old school Halo way where we link up the Xboxes.
Oh, so it's like a 4-way screen.
Yep.
So I remember in college that you had the link system, and you had one screen, yep, one screen, and a lot of television, or we had that really rich guy that brings the projector over.
Yep.
Had the projector and stuff like that, or and then have, like, they would do individual, and then maybe one corner and the other corner they would have the Xboxes plugged in, just one Xbox.
Yep.
4 players, giant screen, just playing that way,
yep,
instead of 4 individual ones.
Yeah, we do that. We do the LAN party Halo tournament. It's huge every year. Like, we can't believe how many people still come want to play Halo. And it's not just people our age. It's kids that are 7, 8, 9 years in these tournaments, and they know what Halo is, and they're playing it, and they're really good. It's scary. We do pinball tournaments, and I am terrible at pinball. But I love to play it. But watching these people with tournaments, because some of the grand prizes are $20,000, $25,000 in grand prizes, or you're going home with a brand new pinball machine. I helped, though. It's one cool thing I got to do last year. I helped unveil the new Hot Wheels American pinball machine. So, like, just these people are, and literally I watched somebody for an hour and a half play on ball 1 for an hour and a half.
Wow.
Like, some of these people are so good.
I remember I go frequently to Lafayette, Indiana.
Yeah.
And there's a big pinball
yes, there is
place there that I normally stop. So I believe in Chicago.
Galloping Ghost.
I think that's it. Galloping Ghost.
Yeah. Pinball arcade.
And
that's it.
They add a new video game system like once a month or once a week or something like that. And I've been to that one. And it is. It's
They come to
awesome.
our show every year. Galloping Ghost brings in a bunch of arcade machines and pinball machines
So
to our
where
show.
is the place at?
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
In Milwaukee? Okay.
Yeah, it's in Milwaukee. It's in the largest convention center in the state. It's literally 250,000 square feet of gaming. And then 100. We have a vendor hall where it's the largest, literally 150,000 square feet vendor hall.
Now, do you know the dates?
April 29th through May 1st. You will be on tour.
Dang it.
I'll be there running the convention. I won't be doing a Monster Jam event that weekend.
Actually, correction. I know exactly. I think I'm going to be in Kobe, Wisconsin.
Kobe, Wisconsin? You're not going to be in Lincoln, Nebraska with this tour?
And I thought that's the same weekend as New Hampshire.
It might be. I don't know. Tour dates run together. But there is a Monster Jam weekend that weekend.
Yeah. In Kobe, Wisconsin, we have a ride truck gig. So maybe.
Yeah,
so,
maybe you can fit it in on there. Come on your way down. It's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll walk you. Come on, man. I'll walk you in, get your tickets. Like, come on.
It's not that far away.
No.
From Champaign anyway. It's about 2 hours of Chicago, and it's about 45 minutes, an hour to Milwaukee.
Hour and 15 minutes from Chicago to Milwaukee. That's nothing.
Is there a theme for this year?
There's no theme. It's just, a general gaming convention. We're actually this year we're bringing in a lot of gaming YouTubers, like A Nerd, and a couple of these other guys are coming in. 2 years ago, 2019. Yes, we had wrestlings. We actually did live pro wrestling last 2019, and then we brought in Eric Bischoff. We brought in Ted DiBiase, a couple of others. We brought in Ernie Hudson. I don't know if you know who Ernie Hudson is from Ghostbusters. He came in a couple of and last year we had Richard Horvitz. He was the voice of Invader Zim, Daggett from Angry Beavers, and I calls. So we brought him in because he did a lot of video games too. He was Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank. Mm-hmm. We brought in, oh my gosh,
people forget. Also, Mark Ham is a very good
video
game
vessel. He's very expensive, unfortunately, to bring in.
Another one that people may not know that does a lot of video games, people will be like double taking, is Robert Englund.
Yep, he sure does.
Knows who Robert Englund is? He's Freddy Krueger, and
he does a lot of video. He does a lot of. It's pretty cool. It's like David Hayter. He's also he directed all the X-Men movies. He's the voice of Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, like people don't know this stuff. But
that's my ringtone when I get someone text us.
Oh, yep. And then this year we're bringing in a lot of YouTubers. We're bringing in name right now, but he's coming. He played Brain from Pinky and the Brain, and he also plays Rick and Morty from Rick and Morty. Then he's coming this year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, and I can't wait. I can't wait to meet him. And that's the cool thing too. A lot of these guys are just normal like you and me, how we're sitting here right now. The guy that was one of the best people I've ever met in my life is John St. John. I don't know if you know who he is.
Refresh me.
Voice of Duke Nukem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I'm
going to
I'm gonna chew. Yeah. He's like one of the best guys ever. Like he hung out, he saw us, and because he texted me, he says, "Hey Matt, I'm here. I was wondering if you could assist me getting my badge and everything." I was like, sure. So we walked down and I get him his badge and everything, and he meets the rest of my team. He's like, "So what are you guys doing right now?" "Oh, I don't know. I think we're pretty much wrapped up for the day." "Great. Let's go have a drink at the bar." He bought us all rounds at the bar and just hang out and talking with us about his video game career. They just want to tell their story and they just want people to listen. And one of the nicest guys, I've been very fortunate that I've gotten to meet like a lot of these people. Eric Bischoff was one of the coolest guys I've ever gotten to meet.
I listen, if you have a chance to listen to this podcast, Bischoff's podcast.
Oh, 83 weeks. Oh, dude, it's so good. And he was just one of the nicest guys to hang around with. He bless you.
It's okay.
But no, you're good, Christina.
You're good.
But one of the nicest guys to hang out with. I actually created for the gaming convention he yet for us back at his house, like about our after party that we were throwing. I'm going to be there hosting this NWO WCW tournament for the N64, and like he did this whole thing for us. It's a video, so I'm literally fanboying editing this video of Eric Bischoff, and I'm like, I'm literally going to meet this guy in a few weeks. And when I did, like, the coolest dude ever. Like, I didn't even want to introduce myself to him because I was such a fan of Eric when I was, watching wrestling.
Especially he's that where he's, like you said, we known him from the NWO, the head honcho of WCW, the guy that had a chance to take
Vince McMahon down.
And how many weeks?
83.
83 weeks. Still, that's 83 weeks. Someone else took the throne from Vince McMahon.
Exactly.
So, having him just talk like he knows you for 20 years, gotta still be a awesome
Well,
feeling.
I didn't even want to meet him. And then Dan, who owns the convention, this guy, Dan, who owns the convention, he's like, did you say hi to Eric? I'm like, nope, been too nervous. He's like, Matt, you perform in front of thousands of people for a living and you're literally too nervous to go introduce yourself. I was like, uh-huh. And he's like, all right, come here. I'm going to introduce you. So he's like, Eric, he does not want to come say hi, but this is Matt. He's actually one of my instrumental people. He's actually a fan of yours. He just didn't want to bombard you. And Eric's like, Matt, are you doing anything right this time? I was like, no. He's like, let's go grab a Coors Light. And I was like, okay, like, cool. So we talked.
To hear your story.
Like we talked and everything like that. And one of the moments of my career, I've had a lot of career moments at Monster Jam, but at the after party, when Eric was coming out on stage, we played his NWO theme he walked out and I got to introduce him. One of the cool, I never thought I got to introduce Eric Bischoff in my life. I got to introduce Eric Bischoff. So I've been very fortunate and lucky to be, part of the journey I'm on. But like the video game convention, if you want tickets, go to MidwestGamingClassic.com. Come hang out with us, please. I'm going to be there. Many other celebrities and a guest to be announced. But
when I post this video, I will put the link of the convention.
Oh, thanks, man.
On the information for
Appreciate
you guys.
That, dude.
And go for there because the people that love video games and stuff like that. And is there any social media people can follow you at?
People can follow me on Instagram at Matt. If you really want to follow me on my Twitter, go ahead and follow me on my Twitter. I do a lot of retweeting about wrestling and about Monster Jam. And my TikTok's at Christina and I will be making one later for when we come out. And that's pretty much where you can follow me.
And how about the Scott Douglas?
Oh, yeah. Twitter/Scott Douglas Media to follow Scott shows if you want more Monster Truck stuff. Scott Douglas Media Facebook page to follow everything that he is doing. Like, show that man some love and support. He's one of our Matt. And then follow these guys. Listen to these guys all the time. Crush this podcast. These guys are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram. Also, me personally, Dan on Facebook and on Instagram. So check that out. And also my RC stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I do that RC stuff with the Churcher King and stuff like that. And so go check that out. agoshsrc.com or whatever. I don't even know my own product. So it's on Facebook and also on Instagram. So go check that out too. Outside of that, thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with you guys on tour and everything. And let's go do an event.
Yeah, we got an event in a few hours.
We got a few hours with Matt.
Night 1 in Raleigh, North Carolina. So once again, guys, like what Brad always says, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Peace.